Good evening, brave souls, and welcome to Whispers in the Dark, Late Night Tales, Halloween Edition. Tonight, we're stepping into the shadowy realm where Halloween is more than costumes and candy. It's a night when the boundaries between the living and the unknown blurred. That I end tonight's tale, The Last Trick-or-Treater. We follow a strange visitor who knocks one last time, long after the streets are empty and silent. Some knocks, it seems, should remain unanswered. But who could resist one last trick or treat? Lean in close, listen carefully, and remember, some visitors come to stay.
It was close to midnight, and the streets had long since gone quiet. The jack-o'-lanterns flickered faintly, their once bright smiles now tired and dim. The last of the trick-or-treaters had gone home, leaving behind only candy wrappers and the faint scent of caramel in the crisp autumn air. Mr. Halloway was about to turn off the porch light when he heard it. Knock, knock, knock. At first, he thought it must be the wind, but the knock was too deliberate, too steady. He glanced at the bowl of candy by the door. Empty. The kids had cleaned him out hours ago. Another knock, soft but insistent. Knock, knock, knock. He hesitated for a moment, then sighed, flipping the porch light back on. Just one more, he thought. What harm could it do? When he opened the door, there was no one there. Just the cold night air and the faint scent of decaying leaves. Hello? He called out into the darkness. Nothing, only silence. But just as he was about to close the door, he noticed it. A small figure standing at the edge of his lawn, right under the street lamp. It was a child, no older than 8, dressed in an old-fashioned black cloak. The hood was pulled low, hiding the child's face in shadow. Trick or treat, the child whispered, the voice barely more than a breath. Mr. Halloway frowned. It's a little late for that, kid. The child didn't move, just stood there under the flickering street lamp. Something about the way the cloak swayed ever so slightly in the breeze made Mr. Halloway feel uneasy. He reached back inside and grabbed a leftover candy bar from the counter. Here, kid, last one. He tossed it toward the child. The candy bar hit the ground with a soft thud, but the child didn't pick it up. Instead, the small figure raised its head slowly, revealing a pale face and eyes that were entirely black. Knock, knock, knock. The sound came again, this time from inside the house. Mr. Halloway froze. Slowly, he turned, heart pounding in his chest. From the shadows of his dim hallway, he saw it. The same child now standing just inside his front door, the black eyes gleaming in the dark. How? He stammered, but the words caught in his throat. The child tilted its head almost curiously and then smiled, a grin far too wide for such a small face. Trick or treat, the child whispered again, this time with a voice that echoed through the house like a cold wind slipping under a locked door. Mr. Halloway's breath came in shallow gasps. He stumbled backward, slamming the front door shut. But when he turned around, the child was gone. Only silence remained, heavy and suffocating. He stood there, trembling, until his phone buzzed in his pocket. With shaking hands, he pulled it out and glanced at the screen. A new message, don't turn around. His blood ran cold. He could feel it. Someone standing right behind him. close enough to breathe on the back of his neck. He wanted to run, but his legs wouldn't move. Slowly, against every instinct screaming in his mind, he turned his head. The last thing Mr. Halloway saw was the child's black eyes, staring deep into his soul, and that impossibly wide grin spreading across its pale face.
And there you have it, brave listeners, another tale whispered from the dark. The next time you hear a knock at your door late at night, will you answer? Or will you remember tonight's story and leave it unanswered? After all, some visitors shouldn't be welcomed in. Thank you for joining me on this special Halloween edition of Whispers in the Dark, Late Night Tales. Stay safe, enjoy your treats, and may your tricks be just playful enough to keep the spirits at bay. Until next time, sweet dreams, and remember, listen closely.